I love charity cases. I love an underdog story. If I have to pick up Maru when my turn comes around, then I'm okay with it. At the start here, we were talking about early gateway Protosses, and you know, that's pretty early gateway, Nate, and that is in the natural of the Terran.
Exactly. Well, you know, you know what they say, the greatest way to get the answers on the internet, Maynard, is not to ask a question. It's to simply state something that's incorrect, and then the collective spite of the masses will work like the fastest cogs that have ever turned to get you the true answer to your questions, whether it is right or wrong. But there you go.
Faster way to get an answer than Google. We have the Zealot showing up here in the front wall, and now there is a full wall in for Maru, which is already a little bit rough for parting with this build. So he is going to deny the natural for at least a little bit while he takes his Nexus up back at home. So I would say a slight lead to parting, but obviously these Zealots have limited utility at the moment.
GG.
I mean, you were talking about variety Doritos, and there are many varieties of parting screams. As a big fan of his channel and him being one of my star players. The Zealots do get a couple of the Marines there. He continues to deny the natural of Maru, which is being remade in the main base, of course, being turned into an orbital, so we'll be able to take that in a minute. And parting is showing, like you mentioned, Nate, that Stargate build. This is something that he's been lacking a little bit more in this matchup lately. But there have been a few times where I have heard that Shebal scream, where I've seen those Phoenixes fly over Marines and him get upset about it. So hopefully the micro is on point today. We do see those Phoenixes getting shepherded out of that main base. Maru is solidifying in that natural, and he's locked down pretty tight. And it looks like with that +1 and stim on the way, he's going to have himself a bit more of a powerful anti-Stargate army. See that Marting is already switching gears here, going for that ground pound army, dropping that robotics bay, going to go for some splash damage. Colossi is going to be the choice.
All right. You know, these types of games I always find fascinating. This Banshee's going to roll into that main base, forcing the recall. I mean, as long as he can get at least like 3 or 4 probes, be pretty happy here, considering not much of a way to escape against those Phoenix. But I always feel like it's, you know, no matter how much damage you take, if the Protoss gives up the opportunity to get that super fast third base to try and put pressure on and they don't kill you, or you get any counter harass done, I feel really good for the Terran position, because typically at this point in the game, he'd be trying to get his third. Parting would already have his third saturated, but instead he's cranking out those probes. He's building these Phoenix, and I don't really think the Phoenix are going to end up being a big factor as far as the main big army fight goes. It's going to be a little bit more about the control on those Colossi, maybe force fields to deal with the bio, but I tell you what, Marines, they're not scared of Phoenix, Lee. You can't get it up in time. There's a possibility that this bio force kind of steamrolls into that third and gets a lot of work done, but with the way that choke point usually works out, I think the priority should probably is focus a little bit more towards securing this third base. The Phoenix are already kind of coming over and bullying our poor Terran player, who did absolutely nothing to deserve having his third base harassed like this. But as I said, Extended Thermal Lance is not up yet, and there's not an insane amount of Zealots with this army just yet. The Guardian Shield is going to get popped. Tanks from front taking for this. Needs to get the focus fire down onto those rest of the units on the low ground. One of the Phoenix coming over to pick up the siege tank. It's a little bit unfortunate, but the rest of the army is going to get away because no Colossus range.
Yeah, I mean, that was definitely a trade for both players. Lots of damage on both sides, but parting with enough breathing room to take that 4th Nexus and with enough gateways to start replenishing as well. Not quite with the funds to get a great big warp into charge lots, which is absolutely necessary here to stand and fight against this Bioforce. He's very Marine heavy, and now that Extended Thermal Lance is done, actually 2 seconds away from that, and there it is. Ding, it's done. Now the Marines aren't too much of a threat anymore to the army of parting, and he excuses Maru from the premises. Get out of here.
Zealous. If Parting thinks that his army is too good and he tries to push up into this innocent Terran ramp, things could get ugly pretty quickly. We do have that one medevac drop kind of poking over, pulling a few warp-ins towards the northeast side as it does get loaded and repositioned. Between you and me, he's getting Vikings, getting some tanks. Would like to still see a little bit of extra starport production. Ghost Academy, what is it doing there?
Oh, that is a weird spot to chuck your tech, and Parting ensues with the punishment there.
Don't put it. He's putting it back. He's putting it back in the city.
I mean, he's gonna plug the whole something, Nate. It's only 50 gas. It's only 50 gas. It's not expensive. It's okay.
It's like, you know what I'm gonna do. You know what I'm gonna do, Maynard. I know that I'm a very strong physical fighter, but I think that instead of using my fists or my legs, I'm gonna bash my bloody head into your chest and just try to knock the air out of you. That's gonna be my strategy. That's what it feels like. That's a little bit what it feels like when you're putting your vital organs at the front of your base. It does raise a couple of questions.
Yeah, I personally
and there it's gonna
yeah. You know what?
What else could have happened?
I'm going to be using my genitalia to block every single blow in every fight. in every fight that I'm in from now on. It seems like a great idea. I mean, obviously, the Ghost Academy isn't that vital. It is super vital to make those ghosts. And he's decided, you know what? Now's the bunker. I've lost the Ghost Academy twice. Probably I'll put a bunker here instead. I do want Enhanced Shockwave. I do think that ghosts are kind of trash without Enhanced Shockwave. I mean, they're not trash. It's actually not being super fair. They still have a lot of utility with those EMPs. Oh, good pick off there from Parting as well, getting rid of that small force of Maru in the top right of the map. But yeah, that upgrade is absolutely necessary. These ghosts need to have the EMP radius of the sun to just cover everything Protoss related with those EMPs.
Bad. So Maru's done a good job of staying on top of that. That's the kind of gameplay I expect out of him. But their DT hit squad, you took 2 of my tanks. You sank my battleship. He killed my bunker. What are you doing?
Parting tried to capitalize on that by attacking on the far left side as well. So the DT is going to get EMP'd and shoot away from the third base here. And that ended up being really expensive for Parting, I got to say, because the left side also got really thinned out. And it was, you know, I was mentioning Parting TY earlier, and that gave me a little bit of reminiscence where a bunch of tanks just erasing a bunch of Parting's army as he tried to attack the left side of the infrastructure of Maru.
Maynard, did Parting, is he on the tail end of another 24-hour stream? Because well, we've got he's building carriers versus a Bio-Terran player, and
yeah,
that's not what I expected out of the Fleet Beacon. If I can be, you know, I don't know how crazy bias of an answer that is, but I'm a little surprised to see carriers versus a guy who's going to have a lot of upgraded Marines. He's getting the medevac upgrade too. I actually do like that. Oh, Maynard, I don't know if you saw, but I did make a Facebook post 2 days ago that said I do not consent to Dark Templars being in my players' mineral lines, killing their workers. And I just, you're really grinding my gears right now. It's a lot of harass getting done. I'm not liking, I'm seeing it. You mean you did conveniently get Maru's worker count down to 69, so thank you, nice. But also, yeah, I'm gonna need it to stop. All right.
That's right. Yeah, everyone
short those defenses.
Please focus on the game.
Focus on the game. Here. It's all about the players. Okay.
Yeah, we're all adults here.
Building armor and high-sec auto tracking, though. Never mind. I'm excited again.
And it's back up. Blood rushing out of the brain. The attempt at a nuke harassment there for Mary actually lost not only the nuke, but also the ghost there. It was just a bit of static defense from Parting, so it didn't really get too far. Maru is still trying to make some nukes happen, though. He's getting more and more nukes up in the Ghost Academy. And I'm continuing to dislike these carriers, but I know that my boy Roddy would be sitting here pumping his fist up. Like, yeah, carriers late game against Terran. But
I'll defend it. I'll actually defend the choice. How does he kill the carriers with the Marines? Is his plan to just kill interceptors while the Colossi and Stalkers kill everything else? You know, like, I think so. At some point, if the Terran army becomes if there's too much variety, then that becomes an issue. Oh my God, please, nuke it. Yeah, that's not going to kill any probes, sadly, but it'll look awesome. There you go. I
mean, giant explosions are still pretty fantastic, no matter how you slice. And here come the Vikings. Target fire from Maru. Oh, nearly gets that carrier. Good micro from Parting. Pulls at the back of the pack. Another nuke there on that Nexus. Maru is encroaching upon actual probe damage.
But he doesn't actually have really many / any Marines with that main army that was by the third base, which is why I was a little bit more concerned, because all I'm thinking about is, okay, well, there is a weird tipping point when you're playing Bio versus Protoss and you try to make that late game transition where you suddenly have a bunch of Vikings, which suck versus carriers, Liberators, which can be good versus interceptors. But like, if you don't have enough actual Marines, then suddenly you're like, oh no, I actually can't kill 50 interceptors flying over my base. DT's blinking into that third base again. Can't keep getting away with it.
Parting's harassment definitely continuing to do more and more damage, but I'm still worried about what his main army's looking like here, Nathanius. Like, it just feels unconvincing against the late game army. And Maru was one of the guys when Protoss were imbalanced that could beat their armies with just a lot of Vikings and a lot of Liberators and a lot of Ghosts. He was the guy that could do that. That's when everyone was saying, play like Maru. And that's getting me worried for Parting a little bit here, even though Parting is perfect.
This is a highly unusual situation. Also, one lone tank on this gold base. That's happening. That's a thing. That's happening right now.
That's a unit that believes when I see something like that. Oh, these carriers are so
going for the nuke on his army. He's not gonna land it, right?
None of the, like, one of the carriers dies to the Vikings there. There are so many Vikings here for Mary, and the nukes here are just
so many DTs. Yeah, no, leave him alone. Oh, that's a lot of resources lost right there. I'll take that, actually. Parting, if you could do that a few more times and turn your whole production into literally only zealots for the rest of this game, you might win. Kappa.
Yeah, this nuke's going to land. He's going to have to let that happen. Does lose a few pylons, which means depowering some of that static D. And Parting's army continues to get thinned out here, and I would be like, oh, this is fine. You know, normally at this point you got a ton of gas. Nope, Parting's actually got sub 1k gas here, and each carrier costs a couple hundred and change. So it's not a great situation gas-wise for the big boy. Meanwhile, Maru is super patient. He's got the patience of a saint over here. I mean, he's just holding on basically against every harassment that Parting's showing at him. You know, Maru's just taking a page out of the TY book. He's like, well, this guy likes to attack, so I'm just going to sit back and wait for it. Let him cast himself upon my blade.
Another nuke going down on that gold gas base. I mean, denying this is definitely important. If I certainly do recognize the usefulness of Vespine gas for toss. Were 2 nukes necessary? No, but it looks twice as cool.
I mean, nukes are always necessary. I don't care. I don't care who you are. I don't care what part of the game it is.
Oh, this is a fight, though. He's getting a little bit into those Liberators, though, Maynard. I think possible a little bit of an overextension, but without the Marines, this is where it gets scary. Like, in a head-to-head fight, those Vikings can sometimes be a little bit flimsy, but I don't think he has any more storms underneath. He blinked a lot of those Stalkers under the Liberation zones.
Yeah.
One more time, Parting, please.
No.
You know, they're called...
On the chase. Oh, no. This is actually... The carriers are starting to lose their ability to retreat here. Oh, my God. He just
rack them up.
These carriers.
Rack them up. Rack them up.
Nate, I've been looking over those patch notes because there was a big patch recently. When did the Viking become a good unit?
Ooh. Apparently today. Apparently, if you play Bio, they're not quite as vulnerable as they typically are against carriers. He's got a good amount of missile turrets to support his front lines as well.
Nate, I'll tell you what, 18 SCVs and a planetary pickoff, that is not bloody bad for this DT.
Snipe up! Snipe them with the ghost! Don't let him get away!
Chad feedbacks there from Parting. Absolutely worth 150 gas.
All right, there we go. The rest of the DTs are gone. Does he just warp in more? He is... You might have to have a conversation with Parting about DTs. Ladies and gentlemen, if you think your young teenager is using DTs, there is help out there that you can find. There are hotlines. Yeah, there are people out there who understand and who have been through the difficult times, such as yourself. Okay, we can help get your kids off DTs. Once they start, it's obviously very difficult to stop. It's a lot of Dark Templar.
It's more addictive than soda, I think, going DT. It's got all the chemicals in it. They're cloaked permanently. They do insane damage per second.
The soda just melts the paint off your card. DTs cut it in half.
That is true. Yeah, they're like that special level in Street Fighter, except every time they get the max score, because they rip that card to pieces. They cube it. Now, I am a little bit worried for the fact that Parting is still... You kind of touched on it earlier. No High Templar. His anti-Viking countermeasures are actually really bad. Like, he doesn't have a way to deal with this ball of Vikings, which is the largest threat to his army. Is that, you know, the Marine count's still not great. It's only 9 Marines. He's got 12 Ghosts, which is, you know, a pretty tanky anti-air unit, but it's not an amazing anti-air unit. These Vikings and mass libs, though, with their upgrades,
some of these guys a little bit out of position. That third base has been a sore spot. It's the soft underbelly, you could say, of the base of Maru, and he's definitely put a good amount of pressure on it several times. Some good disruptor shots on the bottom side. No, Maru, please. All right, well, I think the carriers are off the table, so
yeah,
not too bad there.
I am actually going to be completely fine if we don't see an extra carrier in this game. I feel like they've been a pretty large liability.
I feel like Maynard, this is one of my favorite parts though. But everybody in the chat was telling me how stupid I was for calling out the carriers. You know, I think he should listen to the chat and make more carriers. That would be the smartest thing he could do. Just cancel everything you're building right now. Build just 7 carriers.
I want Parting to win. He's looking pretty good here with this little bit of a drive-by. He's picking off command centers, picking off a lot of SCVs, keeping out of that liberation range. It is a lot of liberation range, though, so those things can reach from the other side of the map, seemingly here with that upgrade. Oh, command center getting very low, and Parting is going to pick it off with one last volley there. Nice shot there, big boy. And you know what? Parting's gotten the memo. He's like, wait, gateway units are the way. And now the gateway units are replenished in his army. He's very close to max out.
I tell you what, I really wish that Maru had transformation servos right now for all those Vikings, because they absolutely clap Stalker cheeks right there if they can get on top of them.
They're +3 Vikings.
The Liberators two-shot the Stalkers with their upgrades as well. So if he could force an engagement into those, he's going to vaporize the Protoss army in a heartbeat. And really the biggest threat to this army is the Disruptors. Like, if he, with the Vikings and the Bio on top of the gateway, they can clean it. Ooh, Disruptor shots. Whiff.
Parting's A-clicking a little bit here. His Zealots are being driven by the threat of that planetary. This is one of the worst places to fight, right next to a planetary. But Parting's going to commit, and he comes with the Stalkers and with the Archons. Landed Vikings there with that +3 attack, and the Disruptors coming in. But the
Go Liberators! It's your birthday!
Oh no! Parting loses his whole army, and now this Nexus is next on the menu with Mary starting to close the noose here on Parting's rich base.
Bring him out, bring him out. As long as he can zone away those Disruptors, you're gonna have a hard time dealing with this. Gets one of the Liberators on half of that base. I like what I see. I like it, I like it. Oh, what's that cheeky DT doing on the north side? Get that out of here. Get up on out of my personal space.
Parting gets rid of that nuke, which would have killed so many things, but does lose a couple Stalkers for it. Of course, those Liberators doing a ton of damage output. Those 2 DTs really need to kind of join in. So get in the pool. It's warm. Let's go, guys. Do something from the backside here, because Parting is starting to lose a little bit of ground.
Well, DTs, you know, they're never going to lose the versatility and utility that they provide in these situations. So he's got that going for him. And it is a little bit, it's a slow burn. This push is a slow burn, Maynard, because outside of the Stalkers, the Zealots actually, or excuse me, the Vikings actually have a really hard time pushing through most anything else on the ground. Like photon cannons. I don't know what kind of dark eldritch magic photon cannons are made of, but they're not machines. They're not mechanical at all. So the Vikings do not deal their bonus damage on the ground against them, which makes them very, very hard to kill. And this army is pretty much just Vikings right now. So I definitely still feel a little bit of the heat of this game right now. There we go. Bring in the bio. Bring those Marines in. Bring the men with the guns in. Don't get stormed though.
Good split from Mary, but yeah, Parting's got a bit more energy on that far left. High Templar there. That's a lot of bad weather. Good storm from Parting's. Really good splash damage there, and that shield battery keeping the High Templar juiced up as well. That Nexus, though, starting to take a little bit more chip damage. Parting's got another big round of Zealots coming on in, but I just don't know if it's enough. There's a lot of Liberators here, and the Vikings can, of course, land again.
I'd like to see him send those Vikings to another base or something. I don't know. He's having a hard time getting done with them, what it seems that he wanted to do. Loses another good amount of them to the Disruptor hits. There's more Templar going to get warped in, and oh, those DTs have absolutely ravaged Mary's economy. I'm not going to lie, Maynard. This is, it's not, I don't know, Kev. It's not looking all that good.
Mary's broke. He's down 70 supply. Parting is looking pretty good right now with a lot more armies, got a lot more probes. Can he actually get the game-winning engagement, sending in the Zealots?
Attacking into Liberators is definitely one way we can get it back here. Just keep doing that.
Oh, there it is. That's the Nova we wanted. That's more Novas for Daddy, please, big boy. More Novas for Daddy. We want those Vikings to go away. No more +3 Vikings, please. There we go. Daddy likes it.
I'm in this tweet and I don't like it. Oh. GG. Okay, well, that was a pretty sick game. I'm not gonna lie.